I think, people have really reacted strongly to the characters of the Hunger Games, mostly because of Katniss Everdeen. I just think that she's a character that people can really relate to. I think that the characters that have stuck around through history are sort of people that react in sort of an instinctual and visceral way to the things that happen to them. And I think those are the things that kind of connect to us just as human beings. And so Katniss Everdeen's need for survival and her need to try and protect the ones that she loves, I think feel very natural to any of us. And I think that if you see a person on screen and you can sort of transplant yourself, into their situation and kind of relate in a way, I think that makes characters really memorable. Gail is somebody that she basically grew up with, and I think that she loved for a long time, and was very close with. It was he was her best friend. Um, Now, some of his philosophies start to kind of come to the surface in this movie, and I think he starts to represent the need to fight back, and he starts to represent the ideas of rebellion and fighting, and even some violence, and there's real strength in that. And I think PETA, she's actually learned to love because I think he represents the opposite. He represents peace and he wants people to figure things out in a nonviolent way. And he's very eloquent. And he always seems to know what to say, and, the right thing to say at the right time. And I think he reacts from a sort of a different emotional place than Gail. And I think she kind of connects to him on that way. And I think truly she probably doesn't know a person as good as PETA. I think just sort of in his soul and in his heart, he's truly, truly a good person. The story in general in Catching Fire really kind of opens up, and I think you start to learn more about the characters. I think you learn more about the world. You see what the Hunger Games means. There's just more mythology. You're sort of learning what's happening in a much broader sense and in a less personal sense. But I think what's also happened is because we kind of now know these characters and love these characters, them sort of pushing forward into these stories and going through these different things, I think it weighs on us more, and it's pretty amazing to see how emotional this story is, and even with characters, capital characters like Effie, and Cinna. First off, I think Jen really, she just owns this character. I mean, having done it once before and done it really well, she really gets it. And so some of the new facets that we worked on, she was just fantastic with, and it was great to see her grow. She's also just growing as a human and, getting older and maturing anyway, which is fantastic. But she's kind of a phenomenon, She's pretty amazing to watch, a joy to work with, she's so easy and fun to be around on set, and such a natural, especially with the role of Katniss, that it's quite extraordinary to watch. Casting the tributes is obviously it's a big deal in these stories. The fun thing about this was that some of the tributes that we're dealing with in this story are much bigger characters than they were in the first story. So, some of these tributes have real meat on the bone in terms of the roles. The great thing is that Suzanne created, very specific kind of archetypes of characters, and so we could go after various people. So it was a lot of fun sort of picking and choosing the right kinds of people for these roles. I think the fans are going to really enjoy seeing, sort of more detail and getting a more sense of place in everywhere we go. So I think they'll enjoy seeing some more detail in District 12. I think they'll enjoy Victor's Village. I think they'll enjoy the sort of glimpses we get on the Victory Tour as you see, District 11 and District 4 and District 8, and getting a sense of what those places feel like and what those people, the people in those districts look like. I think we also sort of step back a little and see more of the capital, the sparkling capital in the mountains, and I think they're going to enjoy that as well. But I think they'll be very, very impressed with the arena. I'm a huge fan of Coldplay. I had actually talked to Chris years ago about doing a video for him, so it's sort of nice to see that relationship kind of come together here. And I have to say, I was just knocked out. He wrote this unbelievable song that could not fit sort of more perfectly, emotionally, thematically, with Katniss, with the end of this movie. And I just think it's going to be a beautiful way to end the film.